darkness from deep in your lair. We're here to tell you that your time has come. This is our kingdom today.
Who are the fools who would dare threaten me?
Dragon can fall. We'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall. Your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall. You are the beast we're training for. We are the party who dare threaten you. We have no fear of your ancient power. Your breath of fire will not make us cower. We're here to tell you that the spells are cast. You will not last the night.
You are the fools who will now feel my wrath.
Dragon can fall. We'll slay you with our mighty sword. Dragon can fall. Your heart will soon be ours. Dragon can fall. You are the beast we're training for. We are the party who now will fight back. Quick, grab the magic bow. All distracted. You'll never defeat me, dragon.
Prepare to meet your doom.
Dragon can fall. We slayed him with our mighty swords. Dragon can fall. His heart will now be ours. Dragon can fall. He was the beast we're training for. We are the party who claim victory. From the depths of the dungeons to the tavern brawls, save the king, killed the giant. We've been through it all. I could fill up a tome, but you're not coming home. Well, we all saw it happen. We're the ones you saved. Gonna light you a candle. Gonna tell your tale by the light of the moon. We'll remember you, dying a hero. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. On that fateful day, the evil wizard came. Now everybody in this realm is singing out your name. Can you hear us sitting out there in the astral plane? Our adventures together went to hell and back. Spent the day slaying dragons and escaping traps, but massive damage is done. Now you're really gone. But we'll remember you, dying a hero. sitting out there in the astral plane. We'll remember you. I am here. Tried to help you with that diamond, but it wouldn't save your soul. And on that fateful day, the evil river came. Now everybody in this room is singing out your name. Can you hear us? Sitting out there in the astral plane. Can you hear us? Sitting out there in the astral plane. Grab your rogue friend, a ranger, and some casters. Time to roll, have a good time, but don't burn down the tavern. Let's burn down the tavern. Time for total party chill. There's a critical hit, critical fail. Hold your head, see that dragon, we can slay it. And we'll level up all night till we get to that big bad evil guy.
What's up, everyone? Hello. Very excited to be here. Happy Tuesday or Thursday. Oh my gosh, sorry, Thursday. I'm gonna go ahead and move chat over here so I can see you all. Okay. My worst fears have been confirmed, though. We have dropped significantly in the participation in our social media for Pro GMs. We had 14 folks turn in their homework last week, and this week we only had 7, which means I don't know if we're going to continue this after we wrap up this cycle, because the thing is we want to make sure the time's being put in, as many people as possible are getting what they need, and they're continuing on with this so that they have all those skills. And so I'm going to wait and see, but it does feel like we've dropped only to 7 participants, and we want to make sure that we're obviously maximizing the impact we have. And so if that's not the case, I'm a little low. It's muted. What do you mean it's muted? Let's see. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da. How about now? Is that better? Not muted, just low. Okay. But does it sound not as low anymore? Louder? Much better. Perfect. Okay. But yeah, big bummer. We only have 7 participants that turned in homework this week. We had 14 last week. So we dropped half on the captions, posts, and search terms, which is, I thought it was maybe one of the easier ones, but I don't know if we'll continue this program for another batch of GMs after this. Because we want to make sure the output that we are impacting as many GMs as possible with a program like this, a course like this. And so we might have to figure out something else that doesn't require the white glove experience of like me leading this course. Because we might just make it more self-service and just those that are really passionate. It's one of those things, though, if you sign up and you decide I'm going to do something like this, you have something that's like kind of pushing you to complete it every week. I mean, I saw so many GMs see an increase in just their online presence with just sticking to the homework, which was really great. Like, just posting and getting better at it because you're posting so often. So a lot of folks, you're probably not here from, we've been doing this for about 6 weeks. This is, anyone can watch this because I'm giving tricks, but about 20 GMs were selected to be part of this program where it's kind of, they can have their content critiqued. They'll, kind of be in this like, I guess you'd call this a workshop series. So if you're first time here, don't worry. We're covering social media tips, but we are 6 weeks in. Let's see. Let's see. I'm going to go ahead and pull up the first terms that we have. That's going to be from, and if you're new here, you're going to have to just catch up because there's a lot to catch up on. But today we are talking about search terms that you can use on microblogs like Threads, Twitter, Blue Sky, terms you can search for to find conversations that you can engage in that can help with your presence. And we're talking about passive presence. So passive presence online is when people can stumble across your content and it has like a long tail. The other thing we're going to be talking about today is Reddit post ideas. Reddit is one of the best places for passive presence. And then, of course, we're going to talk about ideas for future video captions. Now, video captions, the actual description of the video on short form, is something that can be indexed and searched on short form platforms. So thinking about what you want, what people would be searching, and then having a caption that fits that. So let's first talk about Alex's. Alex's, let's see, I can probably share my screen with Alex's. Let's see. Window capture. Let's do Notion. Okay. Okay, there we go. All right. This will make it easy to go over everyone's stuff. All right. So, Alex, your search terms and phrases were RPG system recommendations and then writing on RPG campaign. So, we could probably go and look this up. Let's see what we get when we look something like this up. This is macOS screen capture. Okay, so let's go to Threads. Oh, we'll start with Twitter. Okay. Okay, and then window capture, Twitter. Okay, so you gave us the term, let's see. You give us the term search for RPG system recommendations. Okay, so let's type that in here. It might be small, but I'll go ahead and make it bigger once we get some results. RPG system recommendations. Okay. And then we're going to go to latest. Okay. So now I'll go ahead and make this a little bit bigger. Okay. We'll go ahead and cover up my face here. Okay, so October 21st, 2024. That's the latest mention of this search term. So I would say that this search term not a good search term because there's nothing that's recent. the recent stuff was in October. We can maybe go to like threads. Maybe it's more recent there. But the idea is we can easily check these terms, right? Let's see. What happens when we go RPG system? Okay, so here we got, I mean, it's not much better either. So we go to tabletop RPG system. 27 minutes ago, 37 minutes ago. I'm seriously impressed with the D20 system. Working this happened today. If you want to homebrew content for $2 system, inspired by OC VTubers. So you notice that was it? Let's see. What we chose here, RPG system recommendations, doesn't have a lot of content. So we want to probably change this. Writing an RPG campaign. Let's go ahead and put this one in. All right, so writing an RPG campaign. So what's cool is you can validate these really quickly by just putting them in search. Okay, for Reddit, it's all about posting a good topic or Playful Zealot. We will get to Reddit too in a little bit. So writing an RPG system. Guess it started out as an RPG. So writing an RPG campaign. The latest December 2nd, and it's not even about writing an RPG campaign. I'm currently running Castles and Crusaders, Fallout, and I'm writing an adventure for a convention. So even here, so you might like writing tabletop RPG, writing campaign, but again, you can validate these really quickly. And so it seems like this also doesn't have a lot of juice for the squeeze. All right. Then we have post ideas. Good structures for campaigns. Good structures for campaigns. I don't know if that's a title I'd click on. Good structures for campaigns. What is another way we could say that? And we also have other systems that do what 5e doesn't. This is pretty good. People. This is a. I don't want to be heavily criticism, but when you are leaning on the like, this is better than 5e or this does better, there is an audience for that, right? So I think that's a good title. Other systems that do what 5e doesn't, but it's a little wordy. How can you make that a little more punchy? Other systems that do what 5e doesn't. 6 systems with better mechanics than 5e. I definitely would put in like a number there, even though that's a little clickbaity. But you can also put in on something like Reddit. You want to really you're talking about your own experience, so you don't want to make it super clickbaity like an article, but you want to say like my favorite 6 systems that do what 5e doesn't, or 5 systems that I love because they do what 5e can't. And you're kind of talking about yourself, right? And then in there you can have a post that says, "Hey, tell me about something that you like." Campaigns tackling heavy themes. This is pretty good. That's a good one. Like how, but I would say like how to tackle heavy themes in your D&D campaigns or in your tabletop RPG campaigns. I think that would work really well. So, Alex, good job on these Reddit post ideas. I think this needs a little tweaking. And ideas on future video captions. RPG systems that aren't D&D. I would probably say no to this because we can do this right now. We can go to TikTok and we can go ahead and see what, give me a sec. Okay. RPG systems that aren't D&D. Let me go ahead and just copy and paste that one in. I don't think a lot of people are going to be searching this exactly. What you got to remember is people are more likely going to be searching D&D, D&D rather than D&D. But let's go ahead and see what we get. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen here in a second. All right. So our first one. So I don't think a lot of people are searching RPG systems that aren't D&D. I don't think a lot of people are actually typing that into a search to search in TikTok. So games other than D&D, let's see what this is. This says, what's your favorite tabletop RPG excluding D&D? So you can't see it. Hold on a sec. this is one of the top 4 videos, and it says, what's your favorite tabletop RPG system excluding D&D? So we're not seeing any exact search phrases. Another way you can do this is you can look at Google Trends, right? You can also look at like keyword tools. Let's see. Let's see if I can find a nice keyword tool for y'all to use. Also, Alex, are you here while I'm reviewing your stuff? Alex Lawler. Let's see. Keyword tool. That's me. Okay, H dimension. Great. So let's do like a quick keyword tool, right? Let's put this in here. RPG systems that aren't D&D. Oh, you're gonna make me do trial. Okay, all right. We'll just do Ahrefs. Ahrefs. You can also, if you sign up for a Google Ads account, you can get this for free. But I just don't want to share our Google Ads account live on stream. Okay, so I'm using Ahrefs, which I pay for, but you can also use like the free Google tool, but this is just a lot easier for me to do on the fly. RPG systems that aren't D&D isn't often searched on Google, right? So not a lot of people are going to Google and searching this. Now, the reason why I use Google as a barometer is I don't think people's search patterns have changed too much to what they search in Google versus what they search in TikTok and other short form video platforms. So I think it's common that people are going to search how to play D&D, right? And I think people probably say things like how to play D&D, and they're going to write it out like something like that. And they're going to search that out, and we can see like, okay, cool. There's a search volume of 4.7 thousand. Now, search volume is a real fickle thing, right? But this is the estimated search volume. But this is a decent enough search volume that I probably think people are putting this into short form as well. So yours was, let's go ahead and read it. It was like RPG systems. So what other ways can we ask this? Other D&D? Nope. Let's see. Games like D&D. Okay, games like D&D, there's a little bit of search volume, so that probably means there's a few people online searching for this. Now, this might not be exactly what people are looking for. They might be looking for like Pathfinder, right? But games like D&D is essentially getting across the idea that you wanted to here, which is RPG systems that aren't D&D. So you could also put tabletop RPG systems. Okay, so tabletop RPG systems. There's some search volume there. We can also maybe try popular. All right, so there's like 20 search volume here. We could also try new tabletop RPG systems. Okay, there's a little bit of search volume here. But when you see also keyword difficulty, it's like there's probably not a lot of people who have already made content for this. So for example, if you had a blog and you wanted to post new tabletop RPG systems as an article, you'd probably rank pretty highly if you had, probably 6 months to a year of a track record. Because there's no difficulty here. Now you can get a same keyword tool like this from Google. I'll even send y'all a link afterwards about where to find this. Okay, we got some questions. What is this tool called? It's just so the one I'm using right now is called Ahrefs, which is a paid tool. But I will send you a link to the Google one that you can use for free. Okay, we're gonna move on to our next one. You can't see me, but we're gonna move on to dreams. Dreams. Okay. Move on to dreams. Let's see what we got. All right, dreams. How to play tabletop RPGs by text. So one thing I'll say is dreams, the longer your search phrase is on short form or on microblogging platforms like Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky, the harder it's going to be to find. So how to play tabletop RPGs by text. If we want to check this out, let's go ahead and Twitter again. This in search. All right. And then we'll look at latest. July 15th, 2022. So I probably wouldn't recommend. Oh, you can't see it. Sorry, let me move it around. Yeah, that was the latest version of this. So how else can we search for this kind of like phrase? Play table tables by text. Let's see, October 10th. Okay, so we're getting closer. Play RPG by text. January 1st. So we're getting a little bit better. Let's see. Tabletop RPG text. Okay, let's try text-based. Okay, so you see it's this might not have anything to interact with, but you might want to see what play by post. Okay. 14 minutes ago. This is not what we want. Play by post. Let's try play by post exactly. Play by post. Play by post. When someone has a group that plays weekly and shows up and all the players. Okay, so here we go. We got 1 hour ago, 4 hours ago. How to play HTML, a play by post experience. Have you tried online versions of it? Even play by post types. So even just searching play by post seems to be pretty good. PvP games. Yep, some playoff games and the PvP in that color. Okay, so this does it. Play by post also seems to get a lot of basketball stuff. So let's try RPG. Okay, so not a lot when you like look at tabletop and play by post. It looks like play by post spelled out with dashes seems to be the best. Play by post. Let's see without dashes. Let's try it. Okay, play by post will also get all the ones that don't have the, but it looks like most of the ones that are showing up even have dashes. So that's what I would focus on. But this is the, so now you know like what search term to use. This is the best one to use, right? And we're very easily able to validate that. Can you guys not see my screen? Oh no, my video feed is isn't live. Okay, all right. So let's go ahead and move over to the next one. Your next one was best VTTs for play by post RPGs. So I think you just learned that like this is way too long, right? So I probably wouldn't do this. I would probably just do play by post VTT. What is asynchronous and synchronous? So I actually don't know if this will be gamers that are interested in this. It's an interesting question though. Asynchronous versus synchronous. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it's just general people talking about time. Now, if you think that's valuable for you to interact with, go for it. But this more seems like you've thought of a really good piece of content to create short form about, talking about the difference between synchronous and asynchronous, rather than something to search for to be able to find conversations to engage in on microblogs. Okay, Reddit posting ideas. Asking in our solo RPG if anyone solo RPGs with play by post. If anyone does solo RPGs with play by post, that's interesting. I would click on that purely because I don't know what a solo RPG play by post is. Like, are you just posting with yourself? I think it's a great one. I think a lot of people would reading that. A thread about the VTT any and I found for play by post. Okay, great. So this is a great concept of a thread, but we want to focus on titles here. So, would you say like the best VTT for play by post, or the best VTT I found for play by post? That would make a great Reddit post. RPG glory and or horror story. Glory, RPG Glory, and or horror story. Oh, so this is like you talking about a horror story that you've had or a glory story. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I think that's also great. Future video captions, play by post tabletop RPG. I think that's good. I'd probably do play by post D&D and play by post tabletop RPG. Make 2 different videos. Asynchronous, synchronous. I don't think your audience is searching this term. I don't think that's something they're looking for. I think it's a good video idea. I don't think it's a good caption idea. Virtual tabletop for play by post. I would do PvP VTT. That's all you would do. Because think about how people search stuff, right? Think about how people seek. Actually, let's go to Ahrefs and let's see what for PvP VTT. 0 to 10, pretty small, right? Let's do play by post. Play by post VTT, still pretty low. VTT, 4.4 thousand. Okay, so I would probably do VTT play by post or play by post VTT. That will probably net you the most. Okay. But virtual tabletop for play by post, I don't think that's what you want to be targeting. It's too much, right? But VTT for play by post is good because you got some really good keywords in there. Most people are searching VTT and not virtual tabletop. People are always going to try to shorten words, and they don't use ampersands. They use ends instead of the ampersand, things like that. Let's see. Next up, we have Sue-Ann. Sue-Ann, are you here? If you can, let me know in the chat that you are. Playful Zelt says, question, do the search term find the mix, or does each word that's got a match? So Playful Zelt, so that's a great question. So if I put like best VTTs for play-by-post tabletop RPG games, and someone searches PvP VTT, this could show up for that. They would still have those keywords. It doesn't need to be exact. It just needs to contain those phrases. Now, sometimes if someone is searching exact and you have put exact, you might rank higher. So if I'm searching for tabletop RPG VTT games, and you have a caption that says tabletop RPG VTT games, you're likely going to be the first result. But if you put, hey, if you're looking for games and you want to play on a VTT for play by post, here's a great example, and that's your caption, you'll probably still rank for that search term. But it just depends on there might be other people who rank higher because they might use a more exact phrase, or they might have more views or more likes or more saves, and the algorithm thinks, hey, this video is more important. Does that answer your question, Playful Zealot? Does that make sense? Dragon of Dice, yes, but if there's something like if people are searching just VTT, it's probably also going to take in, especially short form video, your type of user and your type of content you've already engaged with. So if something's already engaged with gaming stuff, they're more likely to get VTT for gaming if they search just VTT. If they've searched more of that file extension stuff and more developer stuff, then they're more likely to get that because there's no one experience anymore. It's all kind of personalized based off of your previous. Okay. Games Turtle. I'm sorry, I know it's probably very confusing because we're 6 weeks into this, but this is about the passive presence as a professional GM, and we're talking about we talked about last week about like certain places you can have a passive presence to increase like long tail signups. So for example, if you have a great Reddit post, like I have old Reddit posts that still drive people to my podcast and my online store, Total Party Chill, and it's like 5 years old, something like that, 6 years old, and it's still driving people. It's still bringing people in. So same thing with Pro GMing. You can create a amazing Reddit post or a few, and you could probably net yourself one customer a quarter, right, from that one post. And that's only 4 customers a year. But if you have 6 posts that also have been successful like that, that can in turn hopefully net you, 20 to 30 new customers a year without you having to do anything outside of that initial response. It's just kind of like this long tail lead gen. That's what we're talking about, Game Turtle. Okay. So Suan, I don't think Suan is here. But we'll go ahead and search terms for this did not copy over correctly. Sorry. All right. Okay. Pathfinder 2e homebrew. This is a great search term because when we're searching on Twitter threads, people are probably using this because it's so short, it's so quick. You're using the shorthand that you'll find conversations that you can engage in very easily. Custom Pathfinder 2e items. Okay, this might be a little trickier. Let's go ahead and put this up. Yes, so custom Pathfinder 2e items doesn't have a lot of results. Let's go ahead and share my Twitter here. There's not a lot for Pathfinder 2e items or custom. Let's see if we get rid of custom. January 7th. Okay, here we go. Looks like we only have one person posting though. There's another, but that's in November. So we can try magic items. Not much better. So we can also try Pathfinder magic items. So not that much better, So I think that last search term you can just axe. It doesn't look like there's a whole lot of value in it. Okay. Reddit post ideas. New Pathfinder 2e magic items. Great. Perfect. I think it's fantastic. Chef's kiss. PF2E improvement to make spellcasting feel awesome. I think it's good. It's a little clickbaity for Reddit, but I would put something like my improvements to make spellcasting feel awesome instead. Like I would put my. How to create a great player's guide for your Pathfinder 2e game. I wouldn't do this. I would say, here is my player's guide for my Pathfinder 2e games. And then I would talk about in the post, like, why your guide's great, why you think it's great. Would be fantastic. That would be an amazing Reddit post. You could even make this better. Here is my, I'm a pro dungeon master. Here's the player guide that I give my players when they join my game. Or I'm a game master on Start Playing. Here's what I give players when they join my game. Start Playing gets a lot of traction. People will read that. Especially like haters, lovers, whatever. But that's also like something that's contradictory that can get people like to click to want to read more. But establishing like this is what you do also is a great chance to hype you up. So if people are like, oh my gosh, this is so cool, I would love to join one of your games. Because you are not promoting your game, you are just talking about what you do, which in essence promotes like your quality. Okay. Suan, really good job on these. Video captions, looking for a Pathfinder 2e group, and then how to create homebrew for Pathfinder 2e. So this one is a little lengthy. I would just say, I would just do Pathfinder 2e homebrew, but you can use this caption because it'll include those keywords. And then looking for Pathfinder 2e group. I don't think people are going to put Pathfinder 2e group. I think they might put just Pathfinder group. So what I would do is I would say looking for Pathfinder 2nd edition group or Pathfinder 2e group and spell it all out. Because I think more people are going to be searching Pathfinder than Pathfinder 2e, but I could be wrong. Okay. Let's see. Next up is RPG Mama. RPG Mama, are you here? You let me know. Okay. We got RPG Mama. They put new to D&D, search phrase, kids D&D. Oh, RPG Mama, fantastic. There's so much content. If we go into Twitter right here and we go D&D kids. Hour, 4 hours, 6 hours, 7. There's so much results here. So yes, I think kids D&D and then new to D&D. Let's go ahead and plug that one in. New to D&D. 42 minutes, 1 hour, 1 hour, 1 hour. Yeah, so there's so much content here. So RPG Mama, fantastic choices on the search terms you've chosen for microblogging to find conversations to interact with to kind of build up your presence. Let's go to your Reddit post. Dungeon Master for Kids Guide. Oh, this is good. I love this. I would put. I would maybe put. No, maybe DM for kids. DM for kids, yeah. Ask fears and issues. Being a new player in D&D. Ask fears and issues being a new player in D&D. I think the second one you need to work on this title. If you were here, I'd probably ask you some questions to maybe clarify, but I'm not sure what you are you trying to get to, like how to use safety tools in D&D. Create a dynamic campaign for new players. I don't know. I don't think this is a good title. And I think the idea is like telling people how to create a dynamic campaign for new players is great. But most dungeon masters, I'm trying to find the best way to say this. Okay, let's see. Creating a dynamic campaign for new players. How else would we phrase this? I mean, I would say like how I create a dynamic campaign for my new players is what I would suggest for something like Reddit. Oh, Suen, there you are. Yeah. Any suggestions on advertising horror tabletop RPGs? I don't use Twitter, so folks, general tips. Blurdy, I would recommend checking out the GM help channel in the Discord. You'll probably get really good insight there. I would definitely recommend taking the onboarding first if you haven't already. That is like the number one thing that'll help you on the platform. And then getting your listing reviewed and then following the critical success steps that we get emailed out. But I don't know which of those you've already done. Yeah, what does dynamic campaign mean? That's a great one, Dreams. Okay, and then video captions. Reason why you haven't learned D&D. Everyone should love D&D. So, video captions. What in reasons why you haven't learned D&D are you thinking that someone would have searched into TikTok or Instagram? And they're probably searching like how to learn D&D. Right? This is a great video idea where you just talk about, here's the reason why you haven't learned D&D. Here's how I can solve that, right? That's a good problem. It's not a great caption because people aren't searching, why haven't I learned D&D? People are trying to search probably like how to play D&D. Everyone should love D&D. Again, I don't think anyone's searching this term. I think it is a great video idea, but I don't think that caption will help you with any search volume on the long tail. All right, let's see. Next, that was RPG Mama, KMK, DM Crystal. Let's go ahead and see what you got. Okay. Notion for D&D. Ooh, okay. So this is good. I think you could also do like D&D note taking, D&D notes, things like that, because you're just talking about how Notion like helps organize things. D&D character backstories. Yep, that's a good one. There's a lot of people talking about their D&D character backstories. You also made sure you did the D&D rather than D&D. Creating interesting NPCs. I would probably just do like D&D NPCs or tabletop RPG NPCs rather than creating interesting NPCs. Let's see. Reddit post. How to keep your D&D session from floundering. I would probably say like, here are 7 reasons why your D&D session is floundering, and then talk about the problems that people have and then the solutions to it. How to keep your D&D sessions from floundering sounds too much like an article and not enough. It needs to be more authentic for Reddit, right? And it's either your experience or like why you think games flounder. So I would say actually, are you here, DM Crystal? DM Crystal, yeah, are you here? Let me know. Ask for experience and preferences of women as tabletop RPG players. This would need more. Well, I think this would need more explanation. Ask for actually, I think maybe the fact that it's so unclear actually might lead to a lot of click through. How to make your D&D character memorable. This is good. I would put maybe how my players make their characters memorable, or how I make players memorable. Again, like talking about yourself. There are more ways to use magic in D&D than there are rules than the rules suggest. So this is cool. Like, I think this is great. I think that's a great title. The focus of Session 0 should be on the character, not the players. Ooh, that's a little controversial. I like that. Yeah, Chris, I think these are some pretty good Reddit posts, just the ideas I gave there. Video captions, women in D&D. I think it's a great caption. Character backstory creation. I could probably do something like D&D backstory creation. And then, let's see. Dungeons and Dragons with ADHD. I would do D&D ADHD. Something like that. Because I don't think a lot of people are spelling out Dungeons and Dragons as much. But you can do Dungeons and Dragons with AD&D, and then maybe put D&D somewhere else in the caption. Okay, let's see. Who else? Who else is next? We got Dragon of Dice. Dragon of Dice, you are next. Dragon of Dice, are you here? Oops, my books fell. Okay. Search terms: D&D player Foundry basics. So you don't need this. You don't need a D&D player. You need Foundry basics. Or you need new Foundry. Things like that. That would be good. You know, new to Foundry, or new Foundry, Foundry basics, or just Foundry VTT, and just interact with anyone who's new. New D&D players. Do you think I would just do new D&D rather than new D&D players? So I would just do something like this. D&D. And then you just have to kind of sort through who is new to D&D. So let's go here. Oh, we already have new D&D up here. There we go. New D&D. Oh, geez. Okay. New content. New for D&D here. So yeah, there's a lot of good stuff for new D&D. Okay. Reddit post: Puzzles over damage sponges, a guide to more interesting encounters. So this is an article, right? I would make it sound less like an article. And Puzzles over damage sponges, I think, is actually a better name, because I don't know what that means, and I'd be interested to read it. Roleplay doesn't stop for initiative. This is talking about more people role-playing in combat. I would say, like, you know, how my players role-play in combat, or how I role-play in combat, or how you can role-play in combat. It doesn't need such a salacious name. Not salacious. It doesn't need such a article-driven name. I would put, like, how I steal from systems without adding crunch to my game. Would probably, because, like, think about how a GM is going to read this, or how a player is going to read this, right? But these are great titles for short form video, right? Like, how I steal multiple systems without making my game a slog. Great video. But if it's like a Reddit post, I would make it more like, hey, here's how I steal from other systems without bogging down my game. Like, you're talking to people, right? You're not selling to them. Yes, Reddit likes informative titles. Okay, video captions: D&D and neurodivergence. I would do like D&D neurodivergence. I would also look at videos to see if there's a shorthand for neurodivergence that people are using. How to read a character sheet. There's probably something better than this. How to read a character sheet. How do character sheets work? But I get it. Like, that's also a great video idea. Excuse me. One for Roll20, Foundry, and a few other free common VTTs too. There's not enough detail here, so we're going to cut this one out. It doesn't say what that relates to the different VTTs. You know, are we saying like, hey, a 101 guide to it, starting to use this, etc.? Okay. last one, Dungeoneer 80. Let's bring this up. Okay. 2 search terms phrases. Create a character in D&D Beyond. This is good. You're not going to find this exact one, but I'm sure we can figure something out here. Let's go ahead and pop this into search. The latest, October 22nd, right? Let's do new D&D Beyond. Nope. Having trouble getting my hands on the new books. Monster Mandary, New Year's. So, I don't think a lot of people are talking about how to use that. So I don't think that's a big one. Homebrew magical items in D&D. I don't think that's a big one either. We go to homebrew magic items in D&D. 2022. So yeah, this is bad. Homebrewing magic items is probably all you need because homebrewing implies tabletop RPG, unless if you have magic items with it, right? Homebrewing magical items, March 13th. Oh, so that's not even good either. So let's do homebrew magic items. And magic items instead of magical. January 7th. Okay, so this is a little bit better, but it's still not great. So you might want to cut that one out because there's not a lot to interact with. I mean, if I scroll down, I'm already in November. Let's see. Reddit post. How to find your favorite game within a game of D&D. How to find your favorite game within a game of D&D. What would this be about? Are you here? I would love to know what this one means. Let's see. Ways for characters to bond in D&D and other tabletop RPGs. Okay, that seems fine enough. It still feels a little articly. Like I would say, 6 mechanics for characters to bond and D&D and tabletop RPGs. Playful Zealot, you're saying how to find your favorite game within the game of D&D. It's about finding your play style. Okay, so because I didn't understand what this, you'd have to change this. So and there's a lot of content around this too. But I would say are you going to create a decision tree, or here's the 7 types of play styles in D&D. This could use some refining. How to heighten epic moments as a player in a tabletop RPG session. So this is a player tactic. But I don't know, a tabletop RPG session. If you're posting in one of these subreddits, everyone already knows it's a tabletop RPG session, right? So you don't need to say that. So you can say how to be epic as a player. Is probably a better title if you're posting in D&D, or how to be epic in combat, or things like that. But again, I think I would need to know more about what you're writing here to give you proper feedback. It feels a little too articly, a little too salesy, like we were saying earlier. But if you have hey, here's 3 ways to have more epic moments as a player, is maybe something a little easier. But you don't need to put tabletop RPG session because it's implied because of where you're posting. Video captions. Set yourself up for awesome roleplay in tabletop RPGs. Okay, so I think it's just roleplay in tabletop RPGs. Let's see. Find the tabletop RPG and table that's right for you. So I don't think anyone's searching these terms. Find the tabletop RPG that's right for you. That's a great video idea. Find TTRPG group is probably a better search term, and the video can be talking about finding the perfect tabletop RPG for you. You could probably put other tabletop RPGs. Blah, blah, blah. I've said that too many times today. Non-D&D tabletop RPGs, but it's a great video idea. It's not a great caption idea because no one's searching that exact phrase. So think about and another thing is you all have Twitter, Threads, Blue Sky. You can go in and start putting this stuff in and seeing what you can find. The other thing is you can also go right into TikTok and Instagram and start searching these terms too to see if there's any results that are valuable. So that's kind of like the big thing to remember here. Ooh. Come on. All right, let me go ahead and get rid of this. Okay, so now I'll do some general questions because we have a little bit of time left. But going through these, I think the biggest takeaway is a lot of the captions, a lot of the stuff you could have verified yourself. And so I want folks to start in that way. Is like, let me just go and see what I like. If you could search for terms, phrases, you can go right now and just see, like, are there any conversations happening I want to be a part of? And if there's something that's happened in the last day or two, that's probably a good search term. Yeah, there's plenty there. Yeah, there's probably plenty. You can if you're making a new to D&D video, right? You can new to D&D, and you can find people that are new to D&D, and you can interact with those. And you probably have a caption of that video. Now, next week's homework, I'm actually going to assign in the Discord, and next week we'll have a special guest, Landon Gus, who is a professional dungeon master on Star Plane, but also a pretty a nice sizable creator on Instagram, TikTok, etc. He'll be coming to do a quick talk about how to also drive people from your social channels to your sign up page, and then we'll be doing a Q&A as well. The H dimension question: I don't see how to apply what you've said to getting across my USP. So far, it seems like you're just saying these are good and bad topics or words to use. USP, can you tell me what you mean getting across my US? What is your USP? Do you mean USB? Your Universal Serial Bus? The H dimension. That question's for you. Well, now we have just silence as I wait for a response. So I'm going to start filling it with unique selling point. Great. So if you are on short form microblogging, right? You don't just tweet out, threads out, or blue sky out your thoughts, right? You have to interact on the platform. That is how you grow, because you're interacting with others. So if your unique selling point is I run indie games, right? I run games of Monster of the Week. Well, then you want to find people who are already talking about Monster of the Week, and you want to interact with them. You want to create a relationship. You want to join that community. And so finding the search terms that help you find people who are not only interested in your unique selling point, but also help you build that community. So if you're just starting out, you're going to get the feed of what they show you, maybe follow some of this, but you got to be very specific. And also the people who are interested in what you're doing, interacting with them because you seek them out, is going to be the best way to grow, right? So commenting, having conversations in these microblogging platforms are the best way to grow your platform, especially when you're brand new, right? Because nobody knows who you are, right? As you get followers, then you get people who like what you have to say. You've already interacted with them. They're going to interact with you more often. That's going to increase your engagement. So over time, it will help you grow on that platform. It also help establish you as, hey, this person knows what they're talking about when it comes to Monster of the Week. Now, when we're creating videos, if I'm talking about, like, I want to create a video for, new Monster of the Week classes, I can create a caption that's like new Monster of the Week playbooks, right? There might be 10 people that search that, but those 10 people are coming to me, right? That video is also being put out. My unique selling point is like, hey, I've made some classes for Monster of the Week. I run this. I love it so much, etc. So your videos are then not only good and searchable for that unique phrase, but then they're coming to you. Now, if I also then go and a post on Tabletop RPG subreddit saying, here are my 10 new playbooks Monster of the Week that I made, people then also will see that this is great. I love these. And you can talk about, like, I made these for my professional game. That one thing, maybe 1-2 customers a quarter, right? That are going to find who you are through this post. The idea that I'm talking about, the H dimension, is passive presence. Whether it be microblogging or whether it be the videos you've made and being able to be searchable afterwards, or the content you can put on places like Reddit. That's what I mean by unique, or how this can apply to your unique selling point. Does that make sense? And let me know if there's something I left out. Let's see. Any other questions? Let me scroll up to see if I missed any. Okay. And again, yeah, I say this because certain posts, question, here we go. So joining communities and interacting is part of bringing people to your community. How does one keep track of all of it? You don't have to keep track of all of it. The thing is, if you enjoy this, unique selling point, right? If you enjoy the week, then I don't know someone who doesn't enjoy a game that also doesn't enjoy talking about it, right? So, the idea is if you're on these platforms already, you don't have to be. If you don't want to be on short form, you don't have to be on short form. But, putting that work in to grow short form, this is how you do it. You'd find people that interact with the stuff you like and you talk to them and you create, friendships. And you don't have to, they say, if you are on something in a streak, you're more likely to get higher engagement. So, 5 minutes a day, when you're waiting for the bus or when you're, boiling water, whatever, just find a few conversations that interact with them. But you don't have to. If you don't want to do short form or microblogging, you don't have to. Same thing as you don't have to do TikTok. But if you want to, this is a tactic and a tool. Okay. The HTML, I haven't heard back from you. But I hope that answers your question is how these relate to passive presence. And it's one of those things, like I said, I still see these posts I've made in Reddit or, posts I've made on, Start Playing alone. When you look at the content that is indexed and searchable because of the keywords we've chosen, has done very well for us. We still see so many people come organically from social. And that is because they are, people are sharing this around, but we also do rank for a lot of keywords like find D&D group that then people can search on TikTok. And we know that something like 40 to 50% of Gen Z are just using TikTok for search now. You're struggling with this? No worries if you're struggling with this. The HTML mentioned it might not be for you, and that's okay if it's not something that you want to put your time into. But I'm trying to give everyone all the different types of tools they can leverage. Does commenting on Reddit posts also work well? That works for building community. Not as much for passive presence, people being able to find you, unless you have the top results. So if you get into early posts, and if someone's saying hey, how do I find a D&D group? And you go and you're one of the early posts is hey, here's 6 ways you can find a D&D group. I think Start Playing is the best, or playing with me as a pro Dungeon Masters are the best, or Pro Game Masters are the best. But you can also go to your game store. And if you actually give the best answer, but you also talk about you being a Pro GM, and the service that you think is best, and you say that you're biased because you are one, that's most likely going to rank the highest in that question, right? And then other people who Google how to find a D&D group and they find that question and they find your top result are likely, that's a great passive way for people to find you. So if someone says hey, how do I find a Vampire the Masquerade group? And if I reply, hey, here's how you can find a Vampire the Masquerade group if you want to find in person, maybe your local library, maybe this. If you're okay to play online, I'd recommend maybe playing with a Pro GM. You can find tons here. FYI, I am a professional game master, but I do think it's the best way to play. I've been running for however long. I have 20 players that play with me every week, yada, yada, yada. And then maybe it's you can also look at Roll20. You can give some other solutions, right? But if you give the best answer, but you also are very upfront that you are giving part of the answer is biased because who you are, you're still then also being upfront and transparent. But then you're also creating a lead-in section if someone wants to play with you. And that is fantastic because we hear so many people who find a GM just talking or posting something on Reddit, and it's never the LFG posts. It's always the conversations that they're having or the posts that they're making that aren't related to LFG. They're just talking about gaming or being a Pro GM in a post or a comment, and that is what's leading to it. Does that make sense, Playful Zealot? I wish there was no lag in questions and answers, but yeah. So, and a lot of this is from research we've done when we hey, let's go ahead and talk to everyone who's said that they've heard about us from Reddit, because we have this thing called the How Did You Hear About Us, or the HDAYU survey. How did you hear about us? And we fired off when you go through checkout, and it asks once and says, "Hey, how'd you hear about Start Playing?" It's like, "Oh, I heard from a friend. I saw an ad. I heard about it on Reddit." And so when people said on Reddit, I interviewed a bunch of these people and said, like, "Dude, how did you hear about us? Like, what was it?" And like, "Oh, I saw someone's post on Reddit." I'm like, "Cool, tell me about the post." Like, "Oh, they're talking about a mechanic they used," or "I saw someone like recommend it in the comments." But almost like at less than 10% were people like, "Oh, I saw an LFG post." Right? It was these casual things where people were just engaging. They weren't looking for a game. They read something that interested them. They found a GM and then they reached out to them. On Reddit responses, how do I find the latest post so I don't land at the bottom of the pile? Okay, so you can do that. You can go to any of the subreddits, and yeah, I mean, you could actually search the subreddits too. You could search just Reddit or the subreddits for those terms, and you could sort by newest. Dreams found through Reddit or Google. So yeah, Playful Zealot. You can go to Reddit and you can find a subreddit. You can subscribe to it. You could look at different subreddits. You can sort on new. You can set up Google alerts for certain phrases that you want to talk on. But part of it's just like, being around and seeing a post and commenting on it. But the best answer usually gets upvoted. So just give really great answers. Nico, can you read my submission as a birthday gift? All right, this is the last one because we're going a little long, but I will read yours as a birthday gift. Okay, let's see. All right. Let's see. Ba-ba. Okay. Ba-ba-ba. Okay, search terms, improv games. Yeah, great, perfect, easy. New to D&D, yep. Reddit, DM Academy. What is a blind spot you wish you knew you had? Oh, great one. So much conversation. DM Academy, how to grab the attention of my distracted players. How to grab the attention of my distracted players. That's also great. Video captions. And I think, if you put how to grab the attention of my distracted players, you can even put like how you can put the background in there. Like, hey, I'm a professional dungeon master. I've been on Start Playing for so long. I've been playing games for this long. I run for about, 80 players a week. And I have a few players that are very distracted. I think they're playing games during it. I'm wondering if you have any tips and tricks to help with those, right? You see in there and then there might be people that will go to this and play, oh my gosh, you run for 80 people a week? That's crazy. Or someone's like, oh, you put in there the qualifiers of who you are. And part of that is that you're a professional game master. Video captions, improv games for acting. Improv games is a great caption, right? And I guess I was looking for keywords in captions, but if improv games for acting is good because people are going to search improv games. Is initiative order important? I don't think a lot of people are searching that, but I think you might get you might get a handful. Is initiative order important? Yeah, I think there's value there. Okay. Yeah, so pretty good. Let's see. We got 3 more minutes of questions if anyone has any. My search tip is Google searches. Yep. And I'll try to find that tool and send it out to everyone as well. Happy birthday as well. But yeah, so next week, a whole new bag of stuff. I'll go ahead and put it in the Discord though. Playful Zealot, just want to say this workshop has been kicking my butt in all the best ways. I knew next to nothing about this starting out. Thank you for this. Playful Zealot, congratulations. Congratulations to yourself. I mean, here's the thing. It really is just sticking to it, trying it, and doing it over and over again and trying to be better than you were the last time. That's really all it is. And like, I've seen everyone like already uptick. Like the people are, getting more views than they were before, making more content than they were before, figuring out how to edit. Like all these things are skills that you're up leveling, right? So I'm happy to see that it's impacting. And we got 9 folks that did it this week. We had 14 last week, so we're losing some folks. But next week we will have Landon, who will be doing a talk along with some Q&A. And so that should be fun. Okay, I think that's it. Team, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a fantastic Thursday, and I'll be here again on Tuesday for office hours, and then we'll be back again next week on Thursday. Make sure to check the Discord, the private one that's just for folks who signed up originally for this. Of course, this video is public to all GMs, and again, we're going to see if this does kick off. We'll continue doing these webinars. Thanks so much, everyone. I'll see you soon. Bye.
Grab your rogue friend, a ranger, and some casters. Time to roll, have a good time, but don't burn down the tavern. Let's burn down the tavern. Time for total party chill. There's a critical hit, critical fail. Hold your head, see that dragon, we can slay it.